Hello friends, Josh here with the Life Reset Collective. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 questions you should ask and answer before resetting your life. This is a channel dedicated to helping people, empowering people who are trying to reset their life and start over. Sometimes because they just need a change in their life, sometimes because of disaster. I've been through 2 major life resets, both times due to divorce. I had to completely start my life over basically from scratch both times. So I have an unfortunate, unique perspective into this. And this channel is here to help, provide encouragement and support, no judgment, no, basically getting down on you, blaming you. We've all been through hard situations, and if you are either going through or have gone through or are thinking about going through or think you may have to go through a life reset, this channel is for you, friends. Now, these are 5 questions that you may ask yourself as you think about launching into a life reset. Now, sometimes life doesn't wait for us to decide to restart. Sometimes we have to do it just because of external circumstances, but sometimes we choose to restart our own life. And that's more what these questions are helping to answer. But helping to answer these questions, answering them for yourself, will help to give you massive insight into, basically what you might want to be thinking about as you embark on this journey. A life reset is not for the faint of heart. It is one of the most difficult things a person will ever go through. You'll change your identity. You will change your belief systems. You'll change your value systems. You'll have to change your habits. You'll have to change your level of discipline. You'll have to change your personality, the way that you interact with others. You have to change the people in your life, your social circles. It's going to change probably everything about your life. So it is not to be entered into lightly, but sometimes if your life is either in a state of disaster or a state of emergency or a state of great need or risk or maybe a terrible circumstance has befallen you, or you're just realizing that life is going by and it's not what it needs to be and you need to change. You may be deciding to restart it yourself, to reset it. So here are the 5 questions you want to ask yourself. Let's start with question number 1. What is not working? Okay? What is not working? It's important to clarify this, because in every life, there are probably things that are working. But it's also really important to separate those things from the things that are not working. What you want to do is you want to very specifically itemize all of the things that need to change. And you're probably going to start this, you'll probably have 3 or 4 or 5 things that will go on this list right now. But then, as you go through the day, you may add 4, 3, 5 things. As you go through the week, you may add a few more. You may get a dozen things, 20 things on this list, okay? There is really no limit. There's no reasonable expectation of what you will put in this list. The most important thing is that you put down everything that is not working. That's the stuff that's going to have to change when you decide to reset your life. And if possible, you're going to want to replace all of those things with things that do work. And then defining how they work is actually part of the next question. This leads to question number 2. What do I want life to feel like? So this is very important. And this comes down to kind of foundationally who you want to be and what you want to live, like what kind of life you want to live. All those things that are not working, they are impeding, keeping you from the life you could have, keeping you from the opportunities you could have, from the people you could love, from the experiences you could be having. From the way of living every day that you would like to be living. And if those things persist in your life, you're going to keep getting held back, right? This could be anything. In my marriage, during my second marriage, which is my second life reset, which I'm still working on, I'm recovering from, even now. And it's been, at this point, we're coming up on a year since the actual divorce was done, but I'm still putting the pieces back together, right? There were some things that were not working. Us living together was not working for a great number of reasons. Me trying to work my job, my career with her in my life was not working, okay? There were reasons why. Us trying to manage our financial lives together was not working, right? Us trying to raise pets together was not working, right? me trying to have friendships with my friends I had before I met her, with her in my life, was not working. There are a number of categories of life that were not working. And when I started making a list of these things, and then I started replacing them with what I wanted life to feel like, it became very obvious this was not going to work, right? Hence why I made the decision to file for divorce. It was a hard decision, but the truth is, I had a choice to make, right? I had to decide what I wanted the rest of my life to look like. I had to decide what I was willing to sacrifice, what I was willing to give up. And the truth is, we just have to be honest about it. The truth is, the cost associated with staying in that life was so high that I was not going to be able to live the life that I want to live in my life. I was not going to be able to negotiate the life I wanted out of that, right? There's a point to where you have to ask yourself, what do you want? What's going to get you up in the morning? What's going to make you excited about life? And then what is holding you back? There's a real serious conversation to be had with ourselves about this, okay? In the wake of this, if you're starting to feel like a life reset may be coming on, and maybe because there are things in your life that are holding you back, maybe it's that job that sucks, that boss that's just he's just awful to you. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's your extended family who you see every weekend and they're just dragging you down. Maybe it's that friend who's like a loser and they're dragging you down with them, right? Whatever it is, whatever circumstance in your life, you really want to take a hard look at that. You want to ask what is not working, and then what do I want life to feel like? And then we can move on to question number 3. What am I done carrying around? Okay. There are some things in this life that we carry around and we don't even realize they're adding weight. For me, it was guilt from my past. Guilt about friendships I had in the past. Guilt about my first marriage. Guilt about people I had dated and I felt like I didn't do a very good job in those relationships. A lot of that was getting carried around by me. And during this life reset, I realized that I was carrying a lot of that around. A lot of that was unhealthy. A lot of that was really burdening me down, keeping me from my full potential. And I had to make some decisions about letting go of those things. So here's a question. What are you carrying around today that you don't need to carry around? Maybe you're carrying around a bunch of bill payments that are keeping you down financially. Maybe you're carrying around a car payment and you're like, you know what? This car payment isn't worth it. This is keeping me from being able to travel. This is keeping me from being able to leave that crappy job I don't like. This is keeping me from being able to start my business, right? Maybe you need to sell that car. Maybe you're carrying around a bunch of other people's responsibilities. Maybe you have a spouse or a partner who isn't doing their part. Maybe you work at a place where you are carrying around other people's crap all day long. Maybe you're done carrying that, right? We need to list these things out, figure out what you're done carrying, and then what is it going to have to look like to offload those things. At some point, you either need to offload those things or they're just going to keep stacking up on top of you, okay? And this brings us to question 4, and this gets way more practical, okay? When you're looking at all of this, it's going to be a little overwhelming. How can I fix all this overnight? You can't fix it all overnight. My marriage, the beginning of the end of it, was at this point over a year ago. And I am still trying to put my life back together from that simple choice. When I analyzed everything, it's like, this is not working. This is not working. All of my attempts to fix it have failed. Basically, a one-man band isn't going to be able to, play in the circus. I could not, under my own power, do everything that had to be done to fix this. If I wasn't going to get cooperation from the other parties, it wasn't going to work. I tried. I wasn't getting the cooperation. It was time to bounce. With that being said, I'm still picking up the pieces left over from all of the sacrificing, all of the work, all of the mess that was left in the wake of that. Messes, that were created just because of the way things went. Also messes that other people threw into my life as a result of that, right? When people realize that you're not going to be carrying their stuff anymore, a lot of times they'll just try to dump it all on you. They're gonna try to, basically offload into your life, because the truth is, a lot of times people don't actually care, right? What they care about is what you're doing for them. not you, care about you as a person. This is very important. We only want to let people into our lives who have good, symbiotic relationships with us, where we do good to each other, we care about each other, we love each other, we actually have good intent toward each other, we care, right? These are all of the important things, not just, oh, what can I get another person to do for me, and then do the bare minimum to keep them around so they keep doing it, right? We want those people out of our lives. But that takes a long time. All these things that we listed, what's not working, what do I want my life to feel like, these things might take hours, days, weeks, months, or years to fix. Canceling a subscription that you're paying for that's taking money out of your bank account might take 15 minutes. Getting out of a marriage that has been holding you down for 15 years might take 2 years. It just depends, right? So you don't want to try to fix this all overnight. What you want to do is say, what can I do today to take one step in that direction? At first, it just might be deciding you want to take action. That's enough for today. Day number 2 might be, let's make a plan. Let's start with the smallest things and start getting rid of easy to get rid of things. Let's start changing easy to change things. And then let's build up to the bigger things maybe, right? You've got to make a plan that'll empower you to start changing your life. To get your life from just the drudgery, the disaster it is now, that's holding you back, to the beautiful future that it could be. Start small, work your way up big. This might be a good strategy. Or there might be a big looming thing that you've got to get out of. And maybe you're in an abusive relationship. Maybe you actually have to get out of that. And that has to be step number 1. Your situation is unique to you. Nobody can really tell you what to do when it is your life. You are the one living it. You have to make those decisions, right? We all have to make these for each other. People are going to judge you sometimes for your decisions. Don't let them. They're not in your life. They're not paying your bills. They're not guiding you, helping you. They're not being your safety net. And if they are, is it coming with strings attached? That's not really a safety net. That's just strings attached favors, right? We want to be very careful about accepting judgment from other people. When we're going through a life reset, it's hard enough. Trust yourself. Be your own support system. Be your own guide. Let your own conscience be the guide. Don't be letting people judge you, keep you held down, right? Now, with that being said, I do have a link in the description. If you would like to talk to me, I am not a coach or anything like that. But if you want to talk to me, you can book a call there. It also helps to support and grow my channel if you do that. But that's about the only thing I personally offer, is I can listen. I could share my thoughts with you. I might give you some advice if you want it. I'm not a coach. At the end of the day, you are the one who'll need to make your choices, but sometimes it does help to bounce something off someone else. Now, with that being said, let's go to question number 5, and this is maybe the most important one. Who do I need to become to succeed at resetting my life? You may need to become someone who wakes up earlier. You may need to become someone who stands up to bullies. You may need to become someone who says no to ridiculous things people try to put on you every day. You may need to become the kind of person who actually makes plans and sticks with them, right? Instead of letting them overwhelm you and giving up. You may have to become the kind of person who says and does things that make other people unhappy because you know they're the right things to do and you're not going to put up with any crap anymore. You may have to become the kind of person who actually prioritizes yourself, your safety, your happiness, your life functionality over the whims and feelings of other people who are going to be mad at you when you stop catering to them. A lot of things may have to change, and at the end of the day, it's important to know that you do not have to fix your whole life overnight. This is a long-term process. The truth is, once you begin a life reset, it's probably never going to stop. You're going to reach plateaus, but we continue to climb out of the mire of our past and toward the promised land of our future, and there's beauty there. I'm chasing it. You're chasing it. Keep going. Keep believing in yourself. Ask these questions. Write down the answers and see where you land on that and make yourself a plan to start changing it. Because, friends, why do we want to live just this life of drudgery, doing things that are not working? Saying no to the things we really want just to appease other people or just to stay in a crappy situation. Why are we carrying all these things for other people instead of carrying our own life forward, right? What could we do today to start that process? Don't get overwhelmed, just one little thing at a time. And then let's become the person we need to become to actually make it happen. Friends, thank you so much for coming back for another episode of the Life Reset Collective. My name is Josh. Be safe out there. Get started on that life reset if you're ready, friends. Leave a comment. Let me know where you're at with it. I appreciate all of you. Have a great day.